morning, I'm Sean Yao, and this is One News Now. 4 more bus routes have been deployed around Metro Manila, but several commuters are still struggling to find a ride. Despite this, Malacanang stays firm on its decision to continue banning certain modes of public transportation. Joining us live from Caloocan City right now is News 5 correspondent JC Cosico. JC, what differences do you see on the road today on this Monday?
Yes, Sean, it's the second week of GCQ in Metro Manila, and some commuters are still having a hard time getting a ride to work, despite the additional bus routes that are part of the government's calibrated response to address commuter woes. The DOTR and the LTFRB have opened today 4 more bus routes that are part of the target 31 rationalized bus routes in Metro Manila. These are Monumento to Valenzuela Gateway Complex, SJDM in Bulacan, Gilmore, Taytay, and Buendia, BGC. The additional routes bring the total number of open bus routes to 12 as of today. Over 200 bus units were authorized to fly these 4 new routes and will drop and pick up passengers at designated bus stops. However, here in Caloocan City, some commuters say they waited for hours to get a bus ride going to their destinations like Bulacan, among others. With this, they are hoping that authorized units to fly this road will do so, especially that jeepneys and public buses remain to be suspended under GCQ. Other passengers, meanwhile, opted for the Libreng Sakay program of some LGUs and the shuttles offered by their respective companies. The government says more rationalized routes are expected to open in the next few days to address the plight of commuters. We talked to some of them, and here's what they have to say on this.
Mahirap talagang sir. Mahirap talaga.
Gaano po kahirap, sir?
Sobra. Ngayon na nangyari ito eh. Alam namin may biyahe ngayon. Wala lang biyahe. Puro Marilaw lang eh.
Puro?
Marilaw.
Puro Marilaw.
Malayo. Malayo pag nagmarilaw kami.
So ano nyo ngayon?
Wala. Baka umuwi na lang kami kung walang masakit.
Uwi na lang? Paano yung trabaho nyo?
Wala na eh. Wala tayong magagawa eh. Mahirap sumakal.
Napakahirap. Sobra. Kasi nga, ang init-init eh. Tapos, ang layo pa ng babaan namin sa LRT, lalakarin lang namin papunta dito. Sana, bumalik na yung kahit bus man lang na diretso ng dito, na hindi na kami transfer pa.
Sean, Malacanang says it understands the woes of commuters, but it remains firm on its decision to ban certain forms of public transportation. Meanwhile, the MMDA has suspended the implementation of the modified number coding scheme, given the limited transportation options for commuters here in Metro Manila. Sean?
Yeah, JC, can I just ask you how these buses, right? Just to be extra, just to be extra sure, these are just point-to-point buses, right? So when you say there's a route, a certain route, it just goes from point A to point B and nowhere else does it stop along that route.
Sean, these are the buses that the government has authorized to fly certain bus routes here in Metro Manila, which again are part of the rationalized bus routes. So different pa yung P2P. Ito yung mga bus routes na pwede magbaba in between those routes. Sean?
Alright, so mga ilang bus kanina na napansin mo na namamasada dyan? Marami ba? Like for example, these 4 extra routes, marami bang buses or isa-isa lang? And marami bang naiwan na stranded na commuters?
Yes, so before 8 a.m., we actually observed around 4 bus units flying the Monumento to SJD in Bulacan and Monumento going to the Valenzuela Gateway Complex. But we have yet to ask the LTFRB kung ilan ba talagang mga bus units yung nag-fly during the Monday rush hour. Pero ang binigay talaga o ang inauthorize ng LTFRB to fly these routes are again over 200 buses. Sean?
All right. Well, with regard to the new normal, quote unquote, JC, social distancing, disinfecting, and of course, compliance to these new norms, how are the buses and the pasajeros also? Kamusta sila? Sumusunod ba? Or were there some confusion also?
Yes, Sean, dun naman sa mga buses before they are, or the commuters rather, before they are allowed entry, they undergo the regular thermal scanning. Now, if their temperature reach 37.5, they won't be allowed entry doon sa mga buses. After that, they will be told to fill up these contact tracing forms. On the capacity of the buses ay halos sa 20 plus lamang yung kayang isakay ng mga bus na ito para nga ma-maintain yung physical distancing. Sean?
All right, so 20 plus pasahero only per bus. Thank you very much for that update. News 5's JC Cosico reporting to us live from Caloocan City. And meanwhile, the government says that bike lanes along Metro Manila's major thoroughfares will soon be constructed. This comes after advocacy groups recommended biking to ensure the safety of workers amid the pandemic. Gerard de la Peña with the story.
The government has come up with a plan to put up bike lanes across Metro Manila only after more than 2 months of lockdown. According to the Transportation Department and the Metro Manila Development Authority, the move to transfer the bus lane along EDSA is just a start. Up next is the construction of an elevated pedestrian walkway and bike lane.
Yung mga buses po na dating nasa kanan, nalipat po sa kaliwa. Yung 3 lanes po para sa pribadong sasakyan, babawasan po ng lapad yan. Pag nabawasan po ang lapad yan, may susobra po na 1 meters to 1.5 meters. No? Ididikit po ito sa sidewalk, elevated, protected. Meron po mga railings, no? May bike racks, kompleto po yan.
Aside from major thoroughfares, the interagency group is also prioritizing the creation of bike paths around hospitals to make it easier for healthcare workers to travel. The Public Works Department, for its part, said bike lanes have been incorporated in the construction of new roads, heeding the recommendations of a study by the Asian Development Bank. It states that bike lanes will help ease traffic congestion as most trips can be done by bike or on foot.
Feeling namin this is really the way to go, and that we should also build additional pedestrian infrastructure, not just in Metro Manila, but all over the Philippines. I mean, this has been the trend in other countries, and we feel na this will also be advantageous and beneficial for Filipinos.
The construction of bike lanes along major roads will take 1 month upon the release of budget from the DOTR, but bikers can't wait. And all they ask for now is a temporary bike path that will keep them safe on the road while the metro is still under quarantine.
Years na naman ba hihintayin? Nasa crisis tayo ngayon, may pandemic, we don't have choice. So, habang walang ganon, we hope that we were able to show na through the initiative na ginawa namin, na pag gusto naman, kaya eh.
For now, several local government units, such as San Juan and Taguig, have set up their own bike lanes. The MMDA asks bikers to await the construction of bike paths and be careful treading the streets in the meantime. For News 5, Gerard de la Peña, we are One News.
And Transport Network vehicle service drivers are giving free rides to commuters along Commonwealth Avenue in Quezon City. Around 100 TNVS drivers picked up stranded commuters from Doña Carmen subdivision to MRT North Avenue station. 2 passengers were allowed to board per sedan, while 4 passengers were allowed per 6-seater vehicle. Laban TNVS continues to appeal to the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board, or LTFRB, because the Regulatory Board only allows around 18,000 out of 50,000 TNVS drivers to operate since the resumption of public transportation.
Kami po sa Laban TNVS ay maasa sa LTFRB na dagdagan ang mga bumabiyahe pang TNVS driver. Ngayon po, habang hindi pa po kami bumabiyahe at hindi pa kami allowed na pinapayagan ng LTFRB, sa ngayon po, magbibigay muna kami ng libreng serbisyo para sa ating mga kababayan dito sa Commonwealth.
One News Now will be back after a quick break. Stay with us here. You're still watching One News Now. Thrift stores such as Tiangues and Ukay-Ukays are also now back in business in areas under GCQ status. The reopening, however, also comes with adjustments in order to comply with the new health and safety standards. Shyla Francisco with the details.
After almost 3 months, Sean was able to buy a sleeveless undershirt in a tiangge in Guadalupe, Makati. He was supposed to purchase one when lockdown orders were set in place due to the COVID-19 pandemic. But unlike before, he's taking extra precautions.
Andun yung takot pero nag-iingat, nagka-face mask naman ako. Tsaka ito naman, nilalabahan ko naman ito pag-uwi sa amin. Alam ko naman yung size ko eh. Sa part ko, mga ganito, free size na mga sando, hindi ko na sinusukat.
Sellers are also implementing their own safety measures now that they are allowed to go back in business. Clothes are disinfected and sanitized often. Customers who are window shopping are sometimes not permitted to enter, and fitting of clothes are not allowed.
Kung ano yung napili nila, pwede nilang isukat basta bilhin nila yun. Hindi na namin pwedeng ibalik yun.
In an ukay-ukay in Marikina, curtains in fitting rooms were removed to ensure customers won't try to fit clothes. Those interested in shades and caps can only look and inspect the products. Sellers in the store, meanwhile, allow fitting but under one condition.
Naka-plastic yung nila, yung paa, tapos disinfect pag tapos hugas alcohol. Nakakatulong. Kasi ngayon, di ba, mahigpit yung natin sa virus para safe sa virus.
With strict measures in place, sellers are hoping customers will patronize clothing and apparel stores. They say sales were slashed by more than half as customers fear shopping due to the threat of COVID-19.
Huwag silang mag-alala na kasi safe naman po yung mga items namin. Talagang mahigpit kasi nga dahil sa virus.
The Trade Department says aside from these protocols, sellers must also follow its guidelines to promote physical distancing. Only 50% of the total capacity of the store can be occupied by staff and customers. If there's a need to fit clothes, sellers should also sanitize the products before putting it on display again. Cashless payment is encouraged, and in case products were found to be defective or if the clothes don't fit, customers are still allowed to return the goods.
Yung exchange policy natin or return policy provided under the Consumer Act, kailangan ma-exercise pa rin ng consumer. And then disinfect or sanitize bago nila ulit i-display yun for sale.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, they have to accept the return or exchange policy.
The DTI warns violators may face closure or the agency may strictly monitor the stores until they follow the minimum health standards.
We really need to do this, diba? Ito na rin yung new normal para masanay na rin both the business and consumer na ito na yung new normal health protocols natin na maybe in the future matatagalan pa. Ganito talaga yung gagawin natin.
Shyla Francisco, We Are One News.
And the Department of Trade and Industry reiterates that the 30-day grace period for residential and commercial rent payments still applies. In a statement, the DTI says the grace period on rent payments is still applicable under ECQ or Enhanced Community Quarantine, Modified ECQ, GCQ, and Modified GCQ. Trade Secretary Mon Lopez says, while we transition to the new normal, the survival of businesses during these difficult times must be ensured. Under its guidelines, all unpaid rent during the quarantine period will not incur interest, penalties, fees, and other charges. No eviction for failure to pay may be enforced during quarantine period. And Vice President Leni Robredo questions the passage of the anti-terror bill in Congress while the country faces a health crisis. In her radio show on Sunday, Robredo said it is disheartening because the country is going through the COVID-19 pandemic, one of the biggest tragedies in history. The VP also slammed the priorities of the government, pointing out that officials should be focused on the health emergency, but instead they are forcing the passage of the anti-terror bill. She also noted that some congressmen withdrew their authorship because of fellow lawmakers refused to make amendments. Recall that the House adopted the Senate version of the bill and passed it on third and final reading on June 3. Controversial provisions of the bill include arrest of suspected terrorists without a warrant. The measure only needs a signature of President Duterte to be enacted into law. And the Justice Department will probe the surfacing of several fake accounts on Facebook. Justice Secretary Bernardo Guevara says he will direct the DOJ Cybercrime Office to coordinate with the NBI and PNP cybercrime units to launch this investigation. Facebook is now also looking into the matter. In a statement, the company says that reported fake accounts that fail the company's authenticity checks will be removed. The National Privacy Commission, for its part, says it is likewise monitoring the reports as it awaits Facebook's findings. The Cybersecurity Philippines has also issued instructions on how to report dummy accounts. Several Facebook users, mostly coming from academic institutions, have complained of supposed imposter accounts bearing their names. For more updates, follow News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. I'm Sean Yao, and this is One News Now.